University of Delhi, Mrs. Given Bender, wife of the Honorable President, State Secretary Mr. Steinmeier, and Ambassador Dr. Martin Ney, other officials of the Embassy of Germany in New Delhi, invited guests, colleagues and friends, and young friends in particular. I welcome you all on this historic occasion. We begin today's program in our traditional way by lighting the lamp, and I request our honorable guest and the Vice Chancellor to light the lamp, please. This was a presentation by the students of Faculty of Music of Delhi University. Thank you very much. I now request Professor Yogesh Jagani, Vice Chancellor, to felicitate President Frank Walter Steinmeier. I now invite Professor Yogesh Jagani, our Vice Chancellor, to give his welcome remarks and also invite the President to deliver his speech. Professor Yogesh Jagani.
Namaskar, good morning. Respected Dr. Frank Walter Steinmeier, the Honorable President of the Federal Republic of Germany. Respected Dr. Alike Budenbender, the First Lady of the Federal Republic of Germany. Distinguished members of the delegation of Germany, dignitaries, guests, colleagues, students, ladies and gentlemen. The University of Delhi, especially the Delhi School of Transnational Affairs, welcomes you all. Mr. President, your presence here proves your attachment with the intellectual world. Your impressive CV exhibits your rich credentials and outstanding public service. Ladies and gentlemen, it is difficult to give a brief introduction of the Honorable President, but I shall point out a few facts. President Steinmeier is a doctorate in law. Here exists natural friendship between the Vice Chancellor of this University and the Honorable President of the Federal Republic of Germany. He wrote his doctoral thesis on homeless citizens. His advocacy of the right to housing demonstrates his social sensitivity and his commitment to the welfare of the downtrodden. I find an interesting commonality between him and Prime Minister Narendra Modi. While President Steinmeier advocated for the implementation of the right to housing way back in 1991, Prime Minister Modi launched Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana in 2015. Homelessness is a challenge in both Germany and India. We hope both the countries will overcome this challenge and will share their experiences with each other. President Steinmeier has been in public service for more than 2 decades. In 1993, he became head of office to Gerhard Schroeder, Minister President of Land Rover Section. The following year, he was appointed head of the Department for Policy Guidelines and Interministerial Coordination and Planning. 2 years later, he became State Secretary and head of the State Chancellery of Land Rover Section. In 1998, he was appointed State Secretary at the Federal Chancellery and Federal Government Commissioner for the Federal Intelligence Services. He also served as head of the Federal Chancellery from 1999. He was appointed Federal Minister for Foreign Affairs in 2005, and he was also Deputy Chancellor from 2007. In 2009, he won a directly elected seat in a constituency inland Brandenburg and became a member of the German Bundestag. The parliamentary group of Social Democratic Party of Germany in the German Bundestag elected him as chairperson. 4 years later, he became Federal Minister for Foreign Affairs for the second time and served in this role until January 2017. President Steinmeier has received numerous awards and prizes, including the Willy Brandt Prize. He has been awarded honorary doctorates by various universities, including the Hebrew University of Jerusalem. He is also an honorary citizen of the cities of Sibiu and Retz. He was elected as the 12th President of the Federal Republic of Germany on 12th February 2017. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a special moment for the University of Delhi that a learned person is our distinguished guest today, and the whole university is here to welcome him and to get enlightened with his words of wisdom. Mr. President, floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chancellor, for your kind words. Ladies and gentlemen, dear students, what a wonderful, what an impressive place here. And I can see why some call this building the crown of Delhi University, this esteemed place of learning now approaching its 100 years anniversary. A place of learning with 200,000 students, one of India's most prestigious universities. A place of learning with global connections, not least, as I hope some of you have been able to experience at first hand, to our German universities, for instance in the cities of Potsdam, Würzburg and Heidelberg. What a pleasure dear students, to be here. Ladies and gentlemen, this is certainly a highlight of my first visit to India as president of Germany. Let me say thanks to the Vice Chancellor and everyone in this room today. It is a great honor to speak to you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for having me. Since my arrival in India, I have been to Varanasi, to the Ganga River and Sana, to the Jama Masjid here in Delhi. Seeing these highly symbolic places has reminded me of this country's many historical and cultural layers. India truly is a treasure trove of impressions and inspirations. To my German eyes, every visit to India so far has been a remarkable experience. Take this Viceroy Lodge, for example, a colonial building. Many of you may know this story. In the basement, just a few meters from here, there once was a prison cell. A cell for a man, a Sikh, called Bhagat Singh. In 1931, aged only 23, Bhagat Singh was executed as a criminal for his violent resistance to British rule. Today, his statue can be seen in the Sansad Bhavan, the Parliament House here in Delhi. How extraordinary. A man once labeled as a criminal, now as a national hero. An underground room, once a prison cell, now at the heart of a place of debate and research. What I want to say, ladies and gentlemen, dear students, coming to India, I have learned to look twice. I have also learned to broaden my own perspective, to question my own assumptions, and to be respectful of what I see. In many ways, I'm really deeply impressed whenever I'm here. Impressed by India's cultural heritage and its incredible diversity in daily life. But impressed also, ladies and gentlemen, by your country's complex, vibrant, and resilient democracy. I have the greatest respect for India's unique path. I know that this path has not always been easy, with conflict and strife along the way. Who would know better about the recurrent frustrations of pluralism than the exceptionally diverse people of India? Who would know better about the painful imperfections of democratic governance than those who live in the largest democracy on earth? I'm acutely aware of the suffering caused by conflicts past and present, of the many rifts, scars, and divisions that run deep in Indian society to this day. And I understand that in many ways India's democracy is different from the one we know in Germany. But India's choices matter in today's world. They will carry even more weight tomorrow. If our two countries succeed in pooling our strengths, in realizing our common potential, we will have much to learn from each other and much to give each other. That is why I have come to India again, to encourage and to challenge all of us, Indians and Germans alike, to take a fresh look at each other, and I hope that our discussion today will be one of the many occasions to do just that. Ladies and gentlemen, my dear students, a few weeks ago, I saw a cartoon in a magazine. Imagine the lobby of a tall building, perhaps an office block. There are 3 elevators side by side. Normally, these elevators and the elevator doors all look the same. But not in this case, where each elevator had a different sign. One door said, for people who like music. The second door said, for people who prefer silence. And finally, the third door had the sign saying, for people who want to talk. But unfortunately, only one person was waiting at that particular line. There was nobody he could talk to. What I wanted to say is, my worry is that there are more and more people in the world who do not want to talk, who want to ride their own private little elevators. Looking out from both from Berlin and Delhi, we can see many recent examples of countries behaving this way and turning their backs on the multilateral cooperation. We see countries that question the value of rumors and agreements, that seek strength and prosperity in isolation and confrontation. On the one hand, there are those who claim that nations can simply do better by themselves, who say that nothing gets done in multilateral systems. We can see this with the country that brought Germany back into the free world, back to openness and democracy in 1945, is now withdrawing from established international institutions and has started imposing new tariffs on steel and aluminium. We can also see it when the European Union, the most successful project of peace and prosperity my continent has ever seen, loses one of its largest member states. But there are also those who reap without sowing, those who destroy without building, and those who intimidate and violate with no thought for the cost of others. For example, we see powers violating the territorial integrity of their immediate neighbors. We see an arc of violence in the Middle East or in West Asia, as it is called here, with a terrible civil war that has cost hundreds of thousands of lives and the deadlocked international community unable to put an end to this suffering. There are tough challenges indeed. It would be easy to raise barriers and to look only to our own well-being. But what do you think would happen if every country, if India and Germany started acting that way? What would happen if we all retreated to our own private little elevators with no one to talk to? What would happen to commerce, to innovation, to culture, to global stability and to our own security if everyone were to fight only for themselves? Would we continue to prosper, to live in peace, to develop our potential, and to shape the future of humankind in the same way we have over these remarkable past decades? No, I think not. Without a doubt, we would all fare much worse than before. On the European continent, we have experienced centuries of conflict and bloodshed. We saw what happens when it's a game of all against all, of pure power politics. Over the past 70 years, however, Europeans have learned. They have learned to live with their diversity in an unparalleled period of peace and prosperity. Stronger together than alone, and peaceful only when bound by common rules. These are the lessons we have learned the hard way. European integration is Germany's convincing and successful response to our history and to our geographical position. That's why we need the hard work and heartfelt devotion of ever new generations of young Europeans. But I'm optimistic, not least because the new German government has put European integration at the heart of its political agenda. Germany will do everything in its power to make sure that Europe continues to prosper and to shape the world of the 21st century as part of a rules-based international order, together with India as one of our strong and close partners. My friends, India's neighborhood is certainly not the easiest place for international cooperation. Over the past few years, there have been many, perhaps too many, setbacks for those who believe in an open and cooperative world. Cooperation requires dedication and a lot of stamina. Common solutions hardly ever come in the shape of simple answers. But that's no reason to stop working together. On the contrary, take one example that is important to both, to India and to Germany: the freedom of navigation in the Indian Ocean. Through the UN Convention on the Law of the Sea and the International Tribunal in Hamburg, we have built a solid foundation to protect our international waters. But we could make this legal framework even stronger, and it is encouraging to see how the idea of undisturbed navigation has recently gained additional traction, especially in this region. The proposal for a code of conduct for the Indian Ocean, built on the foundation of the UN Convention, is an encouraging sign that deserves further consideration. Germany is offering both its legal expertise and its political support, not least because this region's stability is important to our own prosperity and stability. Especially, ladies and gentlemen, in times of setbacks, I believe that we should emphasize such examples and continue sending our message of cooperation and openness. Both India and Germany are both defenders of cooperation, of joint solutions to common problems. India in particular has a long and proud tradition of multilateralism. In an increasing multipolar world, we both understand that no single nation will be able to manage global and regional challenges alone. And especially in a new climate marked by a resurgence of international competition, we understand that it is important to emphasize what unites us rather than focusing on our disagreements. This is the foundation of the strategic partnership that Germany and India launched 18 years ago, providing an agenda for common action. But we must, that is my conviction, but we must grow even closer. We should build a better understanding of what we can achieve together, because our interests are linked. From investment and technology transfer, to trade in goods and services, and from infrastructure infrastructure to vocational training. I think Germany has much to offer in areas that are important also to India's development. We are also strongly engaged in, as you know, cultural exchange with a vibrant community of Max Müller-Barons in 6 Indian cities in the tradition of this great German researcher of ancient Indian scriptures. Last but not least, Germany is India's most important trading partner in the European Union. And together with our friends from France, we can be India's new strategic anchor on the European continent and in the European single market. At the same time, Germany would like to build on India's growing role and responsibility in the international system. As a like-minded partner for constructive and multilateral cooperation, and as a champion of stability in the wider Indo-Pacific region, we should set ourselves the task of finding joint answers to the new challenges of globalization, challenges that both of our countries face. For example, India and Germany both depend on international trade and investment. Free and fair trade cannot guarantee peace and prosperity, but it can bring people together across borders, drive economic development, and at the same time make us understand how much we need each other. Since the year 2000, German companies have invested almost $10 billion in India and have contributed to the creation of around 400,000 jobs. More than 1,800 German companies are currently active in this country. And Indian investments in Germany are also increasing every day. We should continue to reduce barriers to trade, thereby increasing bilateral commerce and investments. And the European Union and India should work hard and fast to conclude the negotiations on a free trade agreement. I'm certain that such an agreement can lend new momentum to bilateral economic relations. Of course, trade often causes disruption. It drives rapid change and creates pressure to adapt. We all know this is a very fine balance, so we may indeed require new answers for the trade agreements of tomorrow. But ultimately, both our countries want to trade more with each other, not less. That's why we should work together to prevent an erosion of the existing global trading system with the World Trade Organization at its core. An erosion with negative effects, I'm sure, for all sides. The second challenge, ladies and gentlemen, that unites India and Germany is the need to innovate constantly and to stay on top in research and development in science and technology. For the younger generation, Industry 4.0, artificial intelligence and robotics will be the norm. India will be at the same time a rural country and a 21st century data-driven economy. Your world will be vastly different from the one your parents inherited. And international competition will fuel the innovation agendas in many countries around the world. In some ways, this is a very pragmatic challenge, because the answer is we need to invest in research and we need to create conditions for groundbreaking Danish-German Science and Research Partnership is now 60 years old and very much alive, covering fields ranging from basic research and scientific infrastructures to cooperation between our research organizations and universities. Cooperation with more than 430 bilateral agreements so far. The German House for Research and Innovation in Delhi is the focal point for many of these partnerships. But beyond such pragmatic answers, the challenge of innovation also leads to more fundamental questions. Questions on our future prosperity. It's not just about technology itself, but also about its effects on our economies and societies. For example, if innovation radically changes the way we produce and consume, what will happen to our jobs and to our labor markets? Will traditional occupations in agriculture and industry still exist in 20, 30, 40, 50 years time? And will our economies be able to ensure employment for future generations? We may also ask, are our education and training systems equipped to keep up with technology? And what will happen to healthcare, to taxation, or to consumer protection? In other words, to an entire system that was designed for a very different economy. Let me add one last question. What about economic development? Are traditional approaches still valid in a digital age? To me, it seems plausible that we need new answers and new strategies. Perhaps less developed regions can indeed leapfrog traditional industrialization and jump straight into the digital age. Some regions in Africa are showing this. Ladies and gentlemen, my friends, these are really difficult questions. But we need to find convincing answers if we want our societies to prosper and if we want to aim for a happy and harmonious human existence, as Prime Minister Modi put it in his recent Davos speech. I'm confident that India's and Germany's strong democratic systems will rise to this task because they are built to adapt to changing conditions. Democracy's greatest strength, to my mind, is its ability to uncover and to correct its own weakness. Democracy has a unique power to self-correct and to deal with new challenges. I believe it's worth our hard work to preserve that power, to maintain this freedom and openness. We need these qualities to overcome the challenges of our time. For example, we should strengthen our universities, defend the freedom of research, and make sure that the arts and sciences can continue flourishing freely, rather than restricting the space for debate and politicizing these institutions to our narrow advantage. When academic freedom is constrained by ideology, when students and researchers are threatened and harassed on the basis of their political belief, then soon democracy will dry out. We should also continue to defend the free and critical press and the freedom of speech, rather than discrediting uncomfortable truth as fake news and blurring the boundaries between facts and opinion. When reporters in many countries around the world refrain from reporting for fear of reprisals, when public debate is discouraged to the extent that criticism becomes dangerous, then it's time to speak up. And when we should continue to engage in rigorous but respectful debates in political parties and with our We should defend the autonomy of women and the rights of minorities. We should stand up for religious tolerance rather than excluding those we perceive as different. We are all entitled to our own opinions and religious beliefs. That's why religious communities deserve special protection. I know these issues from our debates back home in Germany, where public discourse has become rougher and where our uncertainties are increasingly being called into question. I've made it my objective as president to encourage all those who work for the cause of democracy. And that's why I'm here today. I want to listen to your views, and I want to embolden you think about the future. Because, my friends, the future is not set in stone. We all need to shape it. As students and researchers, you have the great privilege to take the long view. Dare to look far ahead with an open mind and with an open heart. We need you in the political debates of our time as a strong voice for an open and peaceful world and for the future of our democracies. My own wish for the future would be, let's continue to ride in the same elevator. Let's keep talking to each other, and let's all go up together. So that's it, my friends, now it's your turn. I'm very much looking forward to hearing your thoughts, but first of all, thank you for listening. Thank you. Also zunächst mal bin ich Ihnen dankbar für diese erste Frage. Ich weiß, dass das nicht ganz leicht ist, sozusagen das Eis zu brechen. Herzlichen Dank.
and pay a visit in my capacity as Foreign Minister, and on those occasions I too had the opportunity to meet and talk to your Prime Minister a number of times here in Delhi, but also when he came to pay a visit to Delhi.
Wenn Sie danach fragen, wie können die deutsch-indischen Beziehungen gestärkt werden, so kann ich auf meine eigene Erfahrung zurückgreifen, weil ich mit den indischen Außenministerkollegen der letzten Jahre in internationalen Institutionen schon sehr eng zusammengearbeitet habe, Erfahrung habe, dass wir gemeinsame Interessen haben und ich glaube auch gemeinsam mehr bewirken können, als wir in der Vergangenheit bewirkt haben.
As you were asking the question how we can work to further deepen and develop the bilateral relationship between India and Germany, I can actually refer back to the experience I have acquired over the years as Foreign Minister when I worked very closely with my counterpart from India, also in the framework of international institutions, and based on those experiences with my colleague, I think it's fair to say that I believe that together we can achieve much more than we have been able to achieve in the past.
Natürlich gehört zur engeren Beziehungen auch die Vertiefung in den wirtschaftlichen Beziehungen. Die findet zum gegenwärtigen Zeitpunkt statt. Ich habe in meiner Rede darauf hingewiesen, dass nicht nur immer mehr Firmen, deutsche Firmen in Indien investieren, sondern auch indisch in Deutschland.
And of course, when we are talking about deepening and further developing ties between two countries and two peoples, we also always mean and think of developing and deepening economic ties. And that is really what is happening right now. I referred to that earlier in my speech when I made the point that it is not only German companies that are increasingly investing in India, but also vice versa, Indian companies are investing in India.
Aber ich spreche hier in einer Universität und vor jungen Menschen, deshalb lassen Sie mich meinen Schwerpunkt noch auf etwas anderes bringen.
But as I happen to be speaking or addressing you here at the university, on the university campus, and as I am addressing mainly the younger generation, let me make the following point.
Die am besten vorstellbare Stärkung von Beziehungen zwischen zwei Ländern ist die Menschen zusammenzubringen. Deshalb freue ich mich darüber, dass zum Beispiel die Zahl von indischen Studenten in Deutschland in den letzten Jahren kräftig gestiegen ist. Immerhin auf jetzt 15.000 Studenten an deutschen Universitäten. Darüber freuen wir uns, sagen aber gleichzeitig, das können noch viel mehr sein.
And the best conceivable way to strengthen and deepen ties between two countries is, in my eyes, to get the two people together to make for a people-to-people exchange. And I am delighted about the fact that the number of Indian students in Germany has been on the rise and has risen to 15,000 Indian students studying at German university studies. I am happy that that is the case. At the same time, I feel compelled to make the point that there could be many, many more.
Ich habe da mit dem Vizekanzler im Gespräch noch darüber debattiert, wie wir insbesondere die Zusammenarbeit zwischen den Universitäten und wissenschaftlichen Instituten, Forscherteams hier in Indien und in Deutschland weiter stärken können. Es gibt traditionelle Beziehungen, aber es gibt viele neue Felder, auf denen Zusammenarbeit der Forschung in Indien und Deutschland möglich, ich würde sogar sagen, auch nötig ist.
As I had the opportunity to talk to the Vice Chancellor a minute before I came here, we also talked about how we can further focus on developing the cooperation not only amongst universities and students, but also amongst academic institutes, research institutions in general. We do have a traditional relationship in those areas, but there are a number of areas and fields where I believe, especially with regard to research, that we can develop our relationship, and if I may dare so, I think it is necessary for us to do so.
I hope these were some elements of the noise.
Thank you for listening, sir. I'm from St. Agricultural College, Delhi University. Sir, on the one hand, we talk about opening up our borders and cooperating on multi-level levels for achieving common goals. But there are some countries on the other hand which are protecting their borders by pulling out of performing agreements, imposing tariffs. So how to achieve common goals in these two contrasting situations?
Could you repeat very slowly?
Ja, herzlichen Dank, dass es diese Frage zu der Zusammenarbeit in internationalen Beziehungen gibt. Das Erste und Wichtigste, was ich dazu antworten kann, aus meiner Sicht, dass einzelne Staaten im Moment auch immer dazu denken, es wird in der Zukunft keine Alternative zur multilateralen Zusammenarbeit geben.
Thank you for this question regarding the cooperation on the international scene and the international framework. Let me first make a point, and I think that is the most important one, really, that no matter what individual states or countries may be thinking these days or whatever they're doing these days, I believe that in the long run there is no alternative to a multilateral approach.
Ich habe in meiner Zeit als Außenminister eine Vielzahl von internationalen Konflikten erlebt, aber ich habe selten erlebt, dass unmittelbar von den Konfliktparteien ein Konflikt beigelegt worden ist.
In my capacity, in the period in which I was the Foreign Minister of the Federal Republic of Germany, I, in my experience, a great number of international conflicts or wars engaged in dealing with these conflicts. Rarely, I must say, have I found myself in a situation where it was possible to say that the two conflict parties themselves were capable of solving the conflict.
Ich war fast 8 Jahre im Verhandlungsteam derer, die mit dem Iran über die Atomwaffenfrage verhandelt haben, bis hin zu dem am Ende gefundenen Agreement.
For almost 8 years, I was a member of the international negotiating team, negotiating with Iran on the nuclear issue, all the very long way down to the final nuclear deal.
Was ich damit sagen will, wir haben besorgniserregende Zuspitzungen rund um den Erdball in einzelnen Konflikten und wir täten gut daran, aus den erfolgreichen Beispielen der Vergangenheit zu lernen und uns auf den mühsamen und auch langwierigen Weg zu begeben und der Beteiligung der International Community nach Lösungen zu suchen.
Now, what I can say based on those experiences is that we have been witnessing many troublesome and worrisome developments. Crises have come to a head in a number of global conflicts these days, and I think we would be only well advised to learn from the successful examples and experiences of the past, and that is to set out on the very tedious, very long and time-consuming path of working for the settlement whilst engaging with the international community on the road to that settlement.
Nach meiner Erfahrung ist es kurzsichtig, sich von den internationalen Regeln zu lösen und die Zukunft des eigenen Landes außerhalb der internationalen Regeln und der Institutionen zu suchen. Am Ende werden wir alle darauf angewiesen sein, dass es international akzeptierte Regeln gibt und andere sich auf die Einhaltung verlassen können.
My experience has been that it would be a very short-sighted approach to turn one's back on commonly agreed international rules and to look to a future for one's own country somewhere outside that set of international rules on a rules-based international order. Because what we are all going to need at the end of the day, at least that is what I see, is a set of internationally accepted rules, because that means predictability and also reliability for everyone.
Deshalb hoffe ich darauf, dass es auch das Ziel der bundesdeutschen Regierung, dass da, wo im Augenblick internationale Handelsregeln verlassen werden, auf die wir uns mühsam verständigt haben in Gestalt der WTO-Regeln, dass wir alle Staaten davon überzeugen können, diese Regeln, die wir uns gemeinsam gegeben haben, auch gemeinsam zu befolgen.
And that is why I would like to express my hope, and that is also the position shared by the present government manufacturing within the WTO framework, that in those cases where some of our partners may turn their backs on these rules, we will be able to make them see reasons so that they go back to those hard fought for international settled rules.
So next and last question.
Who's close to mic? Please go ahead.
Good morning, sir. I'm Simran from Cluster Innovation Center. So my question is, since this meet is based upon India and Germany international relationships, and a major hindrance to Indian students or the people who go from India to work in Germany is the fact that their families also have to give the German proficiency test, which poses a major challenge because Germany is not the language German is not that widely learned in India. So don't you think that's high time that this restriction could be removed so that more children, more students and people could move into Germany, since there's a big manforce in India that Germany could utilize, and it could be used for the development of both the nations as a whole.
Ja, wenn ich mehr junge Menschen aus Indien einlade, auch zum Studieren nach Deutschland zu kommen, dann ist mir natürlich sehr bewusst, dass die sprachlichen Hürden in Deutschland für sie größer sind als in Großbritannien oder in den USA.
Now, yes, indeed, I'm quite aware of the fact, as I have been continue to be inviting young Indians to come to Germany to study. I'm quite aware of the fact that for that, the language barrier constitutes a much bigger burden than it would be for you to go and study at British University.
Wir haben da diesen kleinen Sprachennachteil, von dem wir wissen, aber wir wissen auch, dass wir deshalb mehr investieren müssen in deutsche Angebote hier in Indien. Und das haben wir seit einigen Jahren mit großer Intensität getan.
As we are aware of that small linguistic disadvantage, if I may put it that way, we have been doing more to invest in training in the German language offered here in India. We have invested more in that regard, and we know that we will have to keep
Es war auch nicht ganz einfach in den Verhandlungen zwischen den damaligen deutschen und indischen Regierungen, aber inzwischen glaube ich, können wir sagen, dass das 1000-Schulen-Programm, das wir uns vorgenommen haben, wieder funktioniert. Mit anderen Worten, dass an 1000 Schulen hier in Indien immerhin Deutsch gelernt werden kann, neben den anderen Angeboten zum Deutschlernen von anderen Instituten.
That hasn't, I know that has been a topic of discussion that we have had between the German and the Indian government. It hasn't always been that easy, but I think it's now fair to say, Ambassador, correct me if I'm wrong, that with our system of schools, German schools abroad, we have been able to provide adequate training in the German language. We have been working in that regard. We have now 1,000 schools in India where the German language is being taught. That is, the schools alone, apart from all the other institutions that offer training in the German language.
Trotz der gestiegenen Angebote, Deutsch zu lernen, können wir natürlich nicht von jedem verlangen, dass er mit Deutschkenntnis nach Deutschland kommt, die einen Deutschen in deutscher Sprachenabgabe den Studiengang tatsächlich erfolgreich abschließen lassen. Und deshalb haben wir uns in den vergangenen Jahren, jetzt in den letzten 10 Jahren, sehr engagiert, dass immer mehr Universitäten ihre Angebote in Deutschland auch in englischer Sprache anbieten.
Despite the fact that we thus have increased the offer when it comes to learning German here in India and countries abroad, we know that we cannot simply expect our students to come from abroad to Germany to learn how to study at a German university, that they're capable of speaking German in a way that would make it possible for them to study at a German university, also to finish and take their degree. This is why over the last 10 years or so we've been working very hard to also offer English
Deshalb haben viele, insbesondere technisch ausgebildete Universitäten, mittlerweile eine ganze Reihe von Studiengängen im Angebot, die auch in Englisch stattfinden, sodass Sie keine Sorge haben müssen, in Deutschland nicht auf genügend englischsprachige Studiengänge zu treffen.
And of course, and you might be gauging what I'm getting at, of course, German universities and German research institutes too want to be capable of playing in the topmost international league, and they're quite aware of the fact that they're only able to do so if they offer their classes, their courses in the international language in English that is. Thus, a great number of German universities, especially technical universities, are offering courses in English, in the English language. Thus, do not be afraid, and you won't be expected to exclusively use the German language when going to Germany to study. There are a number of courses offered in the English language at German universities.
Was ich sagen will, meine Damen und Herren, die Sprache sollte kein Hindernis sein. Meine Einladung ist ernst gemeint an die jungen Studentinnen und Studenten. Wenn Sie überlegen, ein Semester, ein Jahr oder längere Zeit ein Studium im Ausland zu bringen, überlegen Sie, ob nicht auch Deutschland ein attraktiver Standort sein kann.
Please do consider coming to Germany, studying at a German university. I think that would be an attractive location.
Thank you for listening and see you during your visit to Germany on my next visit.
Please take it for the minutes. On behalf of the Minister, I would like to, as a gratitude, with Excellency Frank Walter Steinmeier, President of Federal Republic of Germany, for accepting our invitation and sharing your ideas on how the ties between Germany and further, also giving us thoughts on global peace and also global prosperity. There has been a long tradition of academic collaboration and exchange between India and Germany, and many of us have benefited from on-road fellowships, also from down fellowships, and this has certainly fostered research quite a bit of exchanges. As also mentioned by the President, in the last decade or so, there has been a tremendous increase in the number of students who are pursuing their master's and PhD in Germany, and there is certainly an area where we need to study further, and this particular visit will certainly get much more focus to collaboration between Indian universities and the universities. Thank you very much, Mr. President. We also would like to thank Mrs. Wife
We're international lawyers. Well, thank you.
ऑरेंज चलने की चलने
typischen indischen Sachen kann man da. Und ich habe sie gelesen, fand ich ja. Freue ich mich auch, ja.
हाँ बस ले लो आप चलते रहो बस आ जाओ
Be careful. There.
आजा चलता रहा देखो तुम्हारा भाई आपने बहुत फोटो ले ली आजा दूसरे को भी ले लेंगे इस गरीब आदमी को ले लेंगे जल्दी ले भाई जल्दी साइड के चक्कर में रह जाएगा अभी इधर आ जा
Please step away. Step back, please. Thank you.
on the left side
Easy.
Hier?
Yeah.
Bianca, खाने पीने का I want to go and see the band. अभी भेजना है हाँ क्योंकि दोपहर बाद दूसरी पैस नहीं भेजनी बजाना कैसे करते हैं
awarded German chancellors to all his leaders. Wonderful. And I was in 2015 over there, so President Steinmeier was, at that point of time, he was foreign minister. So he welcomed me there. I thought I will have a chance to welcome him by casting.
for this wonderful this event and the success of it.